Have you ever noticed how some guys seem to get incredibly uncomfortable around strong, independent women who don't conform to traditional expectations? It's a fascinating phenomenon that's been gaining more attention lately, especially with the rise of what people are calling Sigma females. Today, we're going to dive deep into this complex dynamic and explore why such a staggeringly high percentage of modern men find themselves struggling with these independent, self-assured women who refuse to play by conventional rules. The rise of the Sigma female phenomenon. In today's rapidly evolving social landscape, we're witnessing an unprecedented emergence of women who don't just break the mold, they completely reimagine it. These Sigma females represent a new archetype that's fundamentally different from both traditional feminine roles and the more commonly discussed alpha female personality type. They're the ones who work quietly but effectively, building their empires while others are busy building their social media presence. They're not interested in climbing social hierarchies or proving themselves to anyone. Instead, they're focused on personal growth, achievement, and self-actualization. What makes this phenomenon particularly interesting is how it's developed organically in response to changing social dynamics. Unlike other social movements or trends, the Sigma female archetype wasn't created by social media influencers or self-help gurus. It emerged naturally as women began rejecting both traditional gender roles and modern social expectations. These women have found a way to exist outside the typical social hierarchy while still achieving remarkable success on their own terms. Understanding the Sigma woman mindset. The Sigma female mindset is incredibly nuanced and often misunderstood. These women approach life with a level of strategic thinking that often catches others off guard. They're not just independent, they're intentionally self-reliant. Their decision-making process isn't influenced by social pressure or conventional wisdom. Instead, they rely on logical analysis and their own carefully developed value systems. This approach extends to every aspect of their lives, from career choices to personal relationships. What's particularly fascinating is how Sigma females handle their emotional lives. Unlike the stereotype of the cold, calculating career woman, Sigma females aren't emotionally stunted, they're emotionally intelligent and selective. They choose when and with whom to share their emotional energy, treating it as the valuable resource it is. This selective emotional investment often makes others, particularly men, feel as though they need to work harder to earn a Sigma female's attention and respect. The deep-rooted male insecurity. When we dig into why so many modern men feel threatened by Sigma females, we uncover layers of psychological and sociological factors. At its core, this widespread discomfort stems from deeply ingrained societal conditioning about gender roles and power dynamics. Men have traditionally been taught that their value lies in being providers, protectors, and decision-makers. When they encounter women who not only don't need these traditional male roles, but have mastered them themselves, it creates a profound identity crisis. This insecurity manifests in various ways. Some men respond with overt hostility, while others retreat into passive-aggressive behavior or attempt to undermine Sigma females' confidence. What's particularly interesting is how this insecurity often reveals itself in professional settings, where Sigma females frequently outperform their male counterparts, not through aggressive competition, but through focused, strategic action and emotional intelligence. The power dynamic shift. The traditional power dynamic in heterosexual relationships has been completely upended by the emergence of Sigma females. This shift goes far beyond simple financial independence. It represents a fundamental change in how relationship roles are defined and negotiated. Sigma females approach relationships as optional enhancements to their lives, rather than necessary completions of themselves. This perspective challenges the traditional male role as the relationship leader or decision-maker. What makes this particularly challenging for many men is that Sigma females aren't actively trying to challenge or change them, they're simply living their lives according to their own values and priorities. This passive challenge to traditional masculinity often proves more threatening than direct confrontation, because it can't be easily dismissed or opposed. It forces men to question their own assumptions about relationships, power, and gender roles. Modern dating and the Sigma female experience. The modern dating landscape presents a unique set of challenges when it comes to Sigma females. Dating apps and conventional dating protocols often feel restrictive and artificial to women who prefer authentic, purpose-driven connections. Sigma females tend to approach dating with the same strategic mindset they apply to other areas of their lives, which often conflicts with traditional dating expectations and timelines. Their approach to dating often includes longer periods of evaluation before emotional investment, clear communication of expectations and boundaries, and a willingness to remain single rather than compromise their standards or independence. This can be particularly jarring for men who are used to more traditional dating dynamics, where women are expected to be more accommodating and emotionally available early in the relationship. The social media impact. Social media has amplified both the visibility of Sigma females and the resistance they face. When Sigma females share their achievements, lifestyle choices, and independent decisions online, they often face backlash from men who feel threatened by their success and self-sufficiency. This digital landscape has created a new battleground, where traditional gender expectations clash with emerging models of feminine independence and success. The interesting aspect of this dynamic is how social media has also created communities where Sigma females can connect and share experiences, despite their typically solitary nature. These digital spaces have become important resources for women navigating the challenges of maintaining their independence in a society that often pressures them to conform to more traditional roles. The professional sphere. In the professional world, Sigma females often face unique challenges that highlight why many men find them threatening. Their tendency to focus on results rather than office politics, combined with their ability to work independently while maintaining high standards, often leads to rapid career advancement. This success can create tension, particularly in male-dominated industries where traditional power structures are still firmly in place. What's particularly noteworthy is how Sigma females tend to approach workplace challenges differently from both their male colleagues and more traditionally oriented female colleagues. They often find innovative solutions that bypass traditional office hierarchies and politics, which can be particularly threatening to those who've invested heavily in maintaining these traditional structures. Emotional intelligence and communication styles. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Sigma female phenomenon is their unique approach to emotional intelligence and communication. Unlike the stereotype of the emotionally distant career woman, Sigma females often possess highly developed emotional intelligence. They simply choose to apply it strategically rather than indiscriminately. This selective emotional engagement often confuses and frustrates men who are used to more traditional patterns of emotional expression and support. Their communication style tends to be direct and purpose-driven, which can be jarring in a society that often expects women to be more diplomatic and accommodating. This straightforward approach to communication, combined with their emotional selectivity, creates interactions that many men find difficult to navigate because they don't follow familiar patterns of gender-based communication. The role of financial independence. Financial independence plays a crucial role in the Sigma female identity and often represents one of the biggest threats to traditional male-female dynamics. When women achieve complete financial self-sufficiency, it removes one of the traditional leverages men have historically held in relationships. This shift forces a re-evaluation of relationship dynamics that many men find deeply uncomfortable. What's particularly interesting is how Sigma females tend to approach financial independence not just as a means of survival, but as a tool for achieving their broader life goals. They often make financial decisions that prioritize long-term independence over short-term comfort or social approval, which can be difficult for others to understand or accept. Conclusion: a new paradigm. As we wrap up this deep dive into why such a large percentage of modern men struggle with Sigma females, it's important to recognize that we're witnessing a significant shift in social dynamics. The emergence of Sigma females isn't just a passing trend. It represents a fundamental change in how women can choose to engage with society, relationships, and personal development. For men who find themselves resistant to or threatened by Sigma females, the path forward isn't about trying to change these women or make them conform to traditional expectations. Instead, it's about examining their own assumptions about gender roles, relationship dynamics, and personal value. The reality is that Sigma females aren't going anywhere. If anything, their numbers are likely to increase as more women recognize this path as a viable alternative to traditional roles. The future of gender relations may well depend on how successfully society as a whole can adapt to and embrace these changing dynamics. For the men who can overcome their initial resistance and insecurities, Sigma females often prove to be incredibly valuable partners, colleagues, and friends, precisely because of their independence, clarity of purpose, and emotional intelligence. But when friction comes, that disorder and uncertainty can lead to major resistance to change. Sigma females often prove to be incredibly valuable partners, colleagues, and friends, precisely because of their independence. In the end, the high percentage of men who currently struggle with Sigma females might actually be a positive sign. It indicates that traditional gender roles and expectations are being successfully challenged, and that we are moving toward a more equitable society, even if that movement creates temporary discomfort for those accustomed to traditional power dynamics.